Hello everyone, Sammy here, looking back at the final day of the January transfer window as we made just one signing, but a signing that I'm reasonably excited about. Armando Broja on loan from Chelsea for the rest of the season. Today is just a little bit of a quick reaction to that signing. I've never actually done this before on the YouTube channel, so let us know what you think. If you enjoy this format, this is maybe something that we'd like to do in the summer. Let me know if this is good, interesting, or bad, and you never want me to do it again. And hopefully in the summer we'll have more than one signing to discuss. So look, it's not a transfer window I think any of us will look back on with great fondness or memories. It was quite a frustrating transfer window, really, but I think you do have to place Fulham's lack of activity in with the context of basically the entire football world that didn't show much activity. I think they show that the Premier League spent about 750 million less than they did in January 2023. Now, that obviously was mostly inflated by that lot up the road having an absolutely mental time last January. But even so, it cannot be said that the Premier League was just actively much less busy than it was last year. I think overall, kind of mixed emotions, really. I think, look, first of all, we haven't lost anyone in this window. And whilst I was never that worried that's going to happen, that's always a positive. There was a chance that João Palhinha could have gone, but I think we knew quite early in the window that wasn't going to happen. Tosin Adarabioyo, apparently there was a late bid from AC Milan for him, but he's staying. So first of all, that is a positive. It's not something that everyone's really focusing on, and I get it, but we've got to look at it from that point of view. Signings coming in. Look, for me, if you gave me one position that I had to choose, although winger would have been a close second, striker was the one for me. We need a striker, especially now Raul Jimenez has got an injury. I think that Tuesday was the clearest indication yet that whilst Rodrigo Muniz has something about him, without Jimenez, we are fucked. Basically, is the short story. He has moments of brilliance, but we just cannot rely on him as a number 9. And I've always kind of liked the idea of Fulham signing Armando Broja. He's been one of those players that I feel like for a couple of years has been touted with us. He's an easy link, right? He's a striker that probably isn't to the level of a club like Chelsea. He's probably at their level where they are right now, but certainly probably isn't at the level of where they want to be or think they should be. And he's young. He has 6 good months with Southampton. He certainly thinks he's Premier League level, and I think generally the football world sees him as that. Like, he's been waiting for a move, and Fulham has felt like a neat fit for Armando Broja, and that's why that link has always come up. And it seems like this time Fulham decided to take that option. I think my main emotion is that I'm excited. He's young, hungry, and in the time where he played for Southampton, I thought he looked great. Now, you dig into some of the stats of whilst Armando Broja was at Southampton, and you know his actual conversion rate and stuff wasn't amazing. But this also was quite a few years ago that he was at Southampton. He'll have grown as a striker, he'll have improved, and ultimately he did find the back of the net, and Southampton fans liked him. And whilst, yes, the stats don't bear out amazingly, the eye test from Saints fans was mostly good. And look, if we were permanently signing him, and especially if we'd have spent the 30 to 50 million pounds that Chelsea wanted for him, I would be much more interested in, you know, some of the stats that don't look amazing, or some of the kind of character references from Armando Broja that haven't been exactly glowing. But for me, this is kind of risk-free. 6 months, see how you do. I'm not expecting him to pull up a huge amount of trees, somehow hit double figures. I think if he gets 5 to 6 goals between now and the end of the season, I would consider that a success, considering the lack of goals in the side right now. And from the terms of the loan agreement, basically, if he plays more than 10 times between now and the end of the season, we don't pay a loan fee, or very, very little. If we play him under that amount of times, we will have to give Chelsea somewhere in the region of £4 million. I mean, Fulham will play him that amount of times. I mean, I think even just to probably escape the loan fee at this point, we will find a way of giving him the minutes that he needs, unless he is the worst footballer that we've ever seen. And he's not going to be. I'm not necessarily expecting like unbelievable things from Armando Broja, but basically we're not paying a loan fee. We will find a way to get out of that. I am sure of it. I think that he can come into this team. This is a team, and we saw it on Tuesday against Everton, that does create chances for its players, just doesn't necessarily always have that finishing instinct. And Armando's got a massive point to prove. There are some disappointing facts of this. The fact there is no option, I think, is understandable but disappointing. If he does do well, then Chelsea are just going to ramp that price right up, and we're going to have to pay absolute top whack for him. But then again, even if Chelsea gave us an option, they would protect themselves against that anyway. I can't imagine that Chelsea would have given us an option that wasn't fairly premium priced anyway, because they would want to protect themselves in case he did well, and therefore, because they would, that'd be a really annoying situation if Armando did much better than expected and they'd given us an option of 20, 25 million. They wouldn't do that. It wouldn't be in their interest. So we'll see how he does. If he does well, then look, that's a conversation for next summer. If we know we've got someone that's a proven Premier League goal scorer, then spending kind of the 40-ish million that I think it will take to get Broja permanently is good money. It's using the Mitrovic money in someone that we know can get Premier League goals. Right now, we don't know that. We've got 6 months to find out. And that's why I think that this is a reasonably smart deal. Try before you buy. And if he doesn't do that well, then there's going to be a host of strikers that we could go for instead in the summer. We are not wedded to him. We haven't got an obligation. We've got 6 months here where mostly it's just about kind of maintaining the status quo in the league. We're not paying a huge amount for him. As we said, no loan value. We've just got to cover his salary mostly. I think this is a good signing, and I'm excited, but also it could all fall flat. I think just with a bit of reaction to the rest of the inactivity in the window, I was hoping certainly for a winger. We saw the links to Turkey from Leon. I don't know an awful lot about him, but I know a lot of people were excited about potentially signing him. Leon had a bit of a weird deadline day. They obviously wanted to bring in Said Benrahma, and it looks like they still might do that, but they were very angry with West Ham that it fell through. And according to Alan Nixon, Fulham did make bids, which suggests that Fulham were going for a winger, and therefore it is disappointing that we didn't get one. We are so light out there. But there is also another argument that with a bit of patience, we do have enough cover on the wings. It's just that right now we have a big cocktail of injuries and unavailability. Once Iwobi is back, we've got cover on both wings, but particularly the left, and therefore you've got two good options on the left. Once Wilson's back from injury, you've got two good people on the right. And once Adama Traore is back, which is a big if, I appreciate that, then you've got a third option in there. And unless we brought someone in on loan, which I think would have been sensible, but clearly there wasn't someone of the required talent, then you don't want to have too many players in the squad. And it's very easy to be on a Football Manager and be like, oh, we can have all these amazing players, but you've got to manage expectations and you've got to do squad management. It's not so easy. It's just to be like, oh, just buy them. They'll be fine. I think, you know, we've learned that when you have too many options, players get unsettled and you get unhappy people in the camp, and that's not a good thing either. So I would have bought in a winger because I think that the situation right now warrants that. But also, I do think that just in 2-3 weeks' time, particularly when Iwobi is back from AFCON, we will have enough cover on the wings. It's very thin right now, and we've got basically no other options than Willian and Bobby De Cordova-Reid. That's not amazing, but we do know that in 2 or 3 weeks, Fulham will be in a much better place and will have much more squad depth. It's been a frustrating month. I think when you realise that we basically played one of the biggest games in our history with one hand tied behind our back, mostly because of the Africa Cup of Nations. And obviously a lack of forward planning because some more signings in the summer, realising that Alex Iwobi is going to go to AFCON, would have been a bit better. But also, I'm also not in the camp of signing just infinite amount of players, because I think ultimately that comes back to bite you. I think the deal that personally I would have definitely looked at is the Ben Brereton Diaz one. He's gone to Sheffield United, can basically play all positions. He's unhappy at Villarreal. He went to Sheffield United, so I think it's not outrageous to say that I think he would have preferred to have gone to Fulham over Sheffield United that are bottom of the league. That feels like a real missed opportunity for me. But we don't know the ins and outs of why Ben went to Sheffield United, and potentially why Fulham chose not to do that particular deal. But that feels like the one for me that seemed like a bit of a no-brainer. But hey, we'll never know. I think for me, it's a 5 out of 10 window. Maybe that's a bit harsh, but we got the position that we absolutely needed, but also we could have built. We could have done something smart. Would have loved to get in Andre, but I mean, I have no idea why Fulham didn't pursue that, but then also he's not gone anywhere else, so he still will be there in the summer. Maybe it was a case of no need to buy Andre while we still got Polina. I don't think that's smart kind of long-term planning. I think we could have bedded in someone like Andre for when Polina inevitably leaves in the summer. Hey-ho. This is Fulham. We don't look particularly long-term with our transfers, and I know a lot of people get frustrated by that. I know a lot of people get frustrated by how late we do our signings. I've always said, live by the sword, die by the sword. This window, we just about got away with it. Last window, we didn't. The structure and the model at the club, the fact that the Suns owner still seems to have a big impact on our signings is weird. But right now, Fulham look comfortable. And as long as we see out the rest of this season, get the kind of like somewhere between 11th and 14th that I think we should get, then everyone will mostly be satisfied. It's not been a stellar season, but also if we can just avoid getting sucked into that mess behind us and tread water in the Premier League, I'm mostly happy with that. I've rambled on a bit longer than I thought. Let us know what you think in the comments of this video. I'd love to do a few more of these in the summer as and when players either come or go. And yeah, we'll be back later in the weekend on this channel as well with the quick take from the Burnley game. Until then, come on you Whites.